Hello again, it's Priscilla Batzell in Spring Hill, Florida at Expressionist Art Studio Gallery in the backyard, playing with lots and lots of layers and having some fun and not being overly sure what I'm doing, but you'll find out when I find out. And this was all meant to be the background for a tree. We'll see how that works. I'm going to put my sky in next. I've got my water behind the tree, I've got whatever the tree's going to be sitting on, and we'll see how that works. And me playing with a lot of different textures at the bottom of this. Moving paint around with a straw. After having used a basting brush. And agitating the paint will often make cells, and I've got some pretty little cells. Also some cute little patterns. And I'm not sure what else to do about that, but I did make up a bunch of colors. Those were the colors for the land. These are the colors for the sky. I'm really tempted to put a layer of white up there just to facilitate, but might also be a good idea. I guess I won't be doing that until I clean that tip out, which I actually already did. So let's just wish the big bottle were closer to within reach and give a nice little start right there. I'll be right back. Son of a gun. Okay. Well, I don't care what's on my spatula because it's, do I? I say that now. I'm wrong. I do. I'm going to grab a new spatula. It's time. I'm going to use my OXO omelet turning spatula, and I'm going to spread that white paint right across the sky area, which should be pretty interesting because I know that the purple that I put in there sells. There's probably more paint there than I need by far, but I think at this point I'd rather have enough and have to get rid of some than need more. I'm going to go right across the top. I'm going to squish a bead of paint right down into that watery looking area. And it's a hotter day than it has been for a long time, but I'm hoping that because I'm putting a heavy layer of paint on at the top that it's not going to dry as quickly. It does set up pretty quick when it's 80 out, but there's a nice breeze, so I'm hoping 80 is really only 70 something. Alright, here goes nothing. And I will clean that out in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and give myself some paint on my edges, because I never seem to do that in a timely manner, and I always seem to have not quite enough to do what I want it to do. So I'm just tapping that right in place with my spatula, especially along the edge, and spattering myself. Looks like there's enough paint there. I had some pretty cells, but they can't stay. So maybe this will be the time I get the paint to not. Oh, maybe it won't be. Now, I don't want that to be too awfully uniform, and I don't want that in my way either. So I am going to push this down into that bead of paint. Actually, I'm just going to do my best to pull all that across and make sure I don't see anything strange in there. Looks like I might have a good edge for a change, except for down there. There's always an except for down there. So these scapes that I do, more often than not, they could really use a frame, just because of that edge along the sky or the land areas. So in this case, I really don't mind that white in the background. Even if I get cells, it's just going to look like little stars, hopefully. Here's me with my fingers crossed over here. Way over here. So, now, if I want more land at the back of this, behind this tree, I'm going to have to use the color that I've got left over and use some... Yep, I'm going to do it. Now is the time. I'm going to grab the bamboo skewer. I may even pour some of that away. Oh, we got an extra mountain. I would pour it away if I leave myself something to pour onto. I think less is more when it comes to what I'm doing now, because if I'm going to put a tree across this, which is a big if, I should just let it dry and put a moon in it behind the tree, which is what I've been fantasizing about. I really want to use, whoops, good thing that wasn't precious. I really want to get that paint off my arm and off of my spatula, and I will return in a moment. But I'll let you guys stare at that for a minute, such as it is. Oh, I found a blank spot on the edge. Good thing I turned that around. Several blank spots. No kidding. I will be back in a memento. Ever since I started working with the white satin enamel, not that there is any in here, I found that some more paint than usual is sticking to me, so I'm a lot more conscious of it being on there. I want to use some of that over here. Don't ask me why, I am just so inclined. And I'm going to bring my edge catcher back to pour onto. I'm also thinking, since I do know how to use a straw, that I ought to try. I wanted to be able to have something behind my tree that wasn't just a flat area. So I'm going to take the paint off my edge catcher. And the edge of the water is looking kind of cool, actually. I don't know if I can ever get it to go back sideways again. Just going to use up the paint in my dish. Hope that this is all looking copacetic. Just blowing that down to change it up. And now, if I want to, I'm going to contemplate my tree. But what I really need to think about is my water. And I also see right there, what did I see right there? I saw right there that I have some sky issues. So I'm going to take my sky colors, give myself some sky clouds. And I'm going to blow those with a straw too. They may never show, but they'll be there if I need them to be. You know, I don't think I'm going to blow those with a straw because I like them so much. I think I'm just going to keep getting down and getting funky. Although I could change my mind at any time, and you know that. Yeah, I like it much better with the clouds. Even the big dark cloud is cool. Ha! Makes me want to do them everywhere. You can't blame me for that. They're very neat. It didn't take care of the problem I was trying to take care of down there by the horizon, but I will do that right now. Just with the edge of my Princeton Catalyst Spatula number 1, available on the Amazon link under the video under Show More. It's that blue link, and this is pretty cool. I don't think I've ever really tried to lay out as much of a plan as I have today. And what I need to do is keep throwing my stuff in the bucket, and it must be, I could leave this right alone. I'm going to try and torch, just because it would be good to pop any air bubbles that happen to be lingering. We get the North Star in there. Cool. Got all kinds of stars popping. Come on. I kind of like that uneven coastline. And I got to do what I'm going to do before it gets too much more changed by the torch that is in my hand on. Well, I was going to change the water, but you know what? I'm really not. Because there's nothing so wrong with it that it can't be like appreciated just like it is without changing everything about the whole painting. So what I want to do now is put that painting aside for a few minutes. Behind me, on a more or less level surface, here are the little cards I cut up for branches. Let's hope they work. Put them just over there to the side. And I am going to grab, oh boy, I'm going to start with some white, because that's been working for me recently. I don't even know if I want as much of an angle on that dustpan as I've got. So I'm going to find something else for less of an angle, because that way I can get in more. And I'm going to use the colors that I like, as long as they'll come out. Let's see if that'll come out. And I'm even going to use some colors I might not think of as my favorites. And they're not going to be much like what's in the rest. But that's okay. It's supposed to be a rainbow tree. And there might be a part 3 to this, I just realized, because I won't be able to have time to do any of the leaves. And I want a whole bunch more blue in there than I've got. Where is the blue that I want? That's the color shifting blue. I think this other blue will help. That's the color shifting blue. I have the blue. There it is. And I want, ooh, this purple. I love this purple. I just made this purple recently. What else have I got? What else? Can't get enough of this master, what did I say? Modern Masters. See, I'm still getting it wrong. And I'm going to throw some orange in there, because I recall my other trees had orange, and they look pretty cool. And that's pretty neat. And as much as I'm not a huge fan of yellow, a little of that goes a long way. That's very orange anyway. I'm going to use my favorite color shifting turquoise as long as I can open it up. I guess I'm going to try and poke something in the tip of that. And maybe a little more red again. And of course now I'll have too many colors, but that's a great batch of colors. Let's make sure. Yeah, and I got the magenta I've been craving. And just to be on the safe side, I'm going to throw some more of that in there. I kind of want to see everything. I don't know about the green. The green is questionable. I want these to come out of here, and I have to decide. Yes, I have made a little tool. It's very similar to this tool. I got 2 minutes to do whatever I'm going to do right now as far as putting a tree goes. And I'm going to try and start it at least, so if I have to come back for part 3, you'll understand. So, I'm going to use my little tool, scrape off the bottom, go in a little differently with my application. I use a skewer. And I think I may be putting something in this background tomorrow, or I may just leave it alone. You know, you can never tell. I am just going to keep, I think I'm going to grab a much smaller, am I? I have a much smaller little homemade tool. And even if you guys have to go for a minute, I will be back. Now, I use GAC 800 by Golden in all my paints so that if I want something to remain heavy like it is, it isn't a problem when it dries. That got a lot heavy. But it'll be okay, I'm pretty sure. I'm really hoping anyway. Now usually I would be expecting to spread this out because I put it on a dry canvas, but this is not a dry canvas by any stretch of the imagination, so you'll have to forgive me if this is the way I start. It's a new experiment for 2020 and I'm liking it. Just using the very edge of that little tool. When that timer goes off, there'll still be 1 minute for me to tell you that I have Expressionist Art Studio Gallery Appreciation Group for students and Expressionist Art Studio Gallery Fans and Collectors for fans and collectors. Conveniently enough, that turquoise in that little batch of paint worked out pretty well to camouflage itself. In with the background. So that's pretty cool, and you guys are going to be gone soon, and I need you to give me a thumbs up if you wouldn't mind. I would really, really appreciate it very, very much. Thank you so much for all the compliments you gave me in 2019, and the comments are very helpful. Sharing my videos is very helpful. My last branches were not as colorful, and that's okay, but I like these. And I'm going to be looking for little tinier cards so I can put more branches in, and I have no idea what my leaves are going to look like, but I got plenty of colors if I want to. Yeah, my timer must have stopped. Okay, you guys.